A differential is coming into my team this week. And yes, I've got a plan for Erling Haaland next week without taking a hit and without using a chip. Welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are well and you're looking forward to game week 5. It's been a rough couple of weeks for me, but I look at my team, I look at how tight things are, and I think those big green arrows and those big gains can still be had. So keep calm, carry on should be the narrative for all those that haven't had the best start to the season. But in terms of how we're set up for game week 5, well, I've got a couple of free transfers. I've got loads of money in the bank, and we're going to talk about my Haaland plans later in the show. But as things stand, this is how I'm set before I make a transfer. I currently have Murillo as flagged, and I've got double Forest defence. Now, for those of you that watch Nottingham Forest play on Tuesday night against Swansea or Wednesday night against Swansea, you would have seen Ange Ball is going to be kamikaze football and kamikaze defending at times. They'll look good in attack, but they're going to concede bucket loads. I don't look at Nottingham Forest now and go, Burnley, Sunderland up next, I'm going to get clean sheets. So I think I'm happy to offload Murillo anyway, and I've obviously got to have a plan to get rid of Nico Williams in the not too distant. But then as we look ahead, I've got, I think, a team fairly well set going into game week 5. So Dubravka could get the nod over Sanchez in goal. I'm not sure where I go with that one. I've got Munoz and Pedro Porro, who I like. And then the midfield, again, let's talk captaincy later, but Salah, Harvey Elliott should start after scoring for Aston Villa in the week. Most Villa fans think he comes in. Wirtz on his last game for me. Reinders in place. He was unlucky not to score in game week 4. João Pedro. And then Ollie Watkins, by the way, who... oh, he's been so disappointing. And when we look at the Aston Villa fixtures, I am very likely keeping Watkins for Sunderland, for Fulham and for Burnley, but then I'm getting rid. And perhaps we've given too much for the fixtures and too much waiting for the fixtures, and actually we should be following form. And I look at some of the players that have done well this season without good fixtures. You could say Erling Haaland, you could say Arsenal defenders. We've not owned these players because the fixtures weren't good. Well, Gianni, you should be looking more at the form. Arsenal have conceded 1 goal in 5 games, 4 Premier League, 1 Champions League game, and it was a Dominic Szoboszlai-Worldy free kick. Why are we not all doubled up on their defence, right? So as I look at my team, I think I'm happy with where I'm going, but I do need to make a defensive transfer. And I think Murillo very likely comes out. I could keep Murillo in, and if he didn't play, I have Dewsbury Hall there ready and waiting. But I'm not so sure that's the direction I'll be going in. Guys, if you've enjoyed this video so far, want to show support in any way, shape or form, the like button is our friend. But please do hit that subscribe button if you're new around here as well. Thank you for subbing and commenting as you always do. So let's have a look. This is how I'm set. I got 5.5 million in the bank. And why have I got so much money? Well, Palmer went to Cunha, who went to Elliott. So I've got all my Cole Palmer money still. And I know I need that money for a plan for Haaland next week. So I'm not looking to spend big bucks. In fact, I'm looking to make Murillo a 4.5 million defender because I'm actually looking to save even more money with that Erling Haaland plan in mind. And I think that's the direction I'm very, very likely to go in this week. So let's have a look at some defender options for us. And of course, the fixture ticker's kind. I look at like Wolves and I go, should I be looking at someone like an Agbadou? Leeds, Tottenham, Brighton, Sunderland, Burnley, they are right at the top of the Fantasy Football Scout difficulty rate, i.e. they've got the best fixtures. But I want to go tried and tested. And by the way, if you want to check out Scout and all the good stuff, there's a link in the description. The members area is the best FPL resource out there. But I think I want to go a little bit DEFCON heavy, tried, tested, and I know how I can get there. Before we do that, if you haven't already checked out the OneFootball app, guys, this is an incredible football app. Get it on your phone. It lives on the home screen of mine. It's free. Scan the QR code now and download. It takes seconds. It's brilliant for all the Champions League stuff we've had in the last few days. It's great for video clips of Premier League games, all the live scores, all the data. It's all there in one place, OneFootball. It should live on your home screen. I know most of you. Drop me a comment if you've got it and what you think of it. It will help others out. But for me, it's the GOAT football app. So this is helping me get there with my defender decision, all right? This is from Tom Hadley, and I love his stuff on Twitter. Give him a follow. But 100% so far, we have seen Senesi and Mukalele, who's only had 2 games at Sunderland, but Senesi, 4 from 4. Tarkowski, 4 from 4, hitting DEFCON. And Bournemouth have got the fixtures too. So I look at Bournemouth and I go, Senesi's hitting DEFCON on average, he's getting 13.8. You need 12. So he's clearing it by 2 defensive contributions per game. And then when we look at the fixtures, it's like, okay, how do Bournemouth rate for fixtures? Well, Newcastle, who could have a bit of a hangover after the Barcelona game on Thursday night. So straight away, I'm like, okay, that's a good fixture for Bournemouth. Then Leeds, good fixture away. They don't score many. Fulham at home, I fancy a clean sheet for Bournemouth. Palace on the road and Forest at home. Like, there's some good clean sheet fixtures there for a Senesi. And it feels like if you want to spend 4.5 million, who's the best one to go to? Well, I get Defcon. I get some attacking threat because he's good in the air, Senesi, opposition corners as well. And I just think at 4.5 million, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. I like Agbadu. I like Anderson of Fulham. But long-term, Senesi's got everything. Defcon fixtures, goal threat. Yeah, I think I probably need to get him in my team. And actually, when we compare him to the other best Defcon magnet, who's 5.5 million, James Tarkowski, you're saving $1 million on Senesi. And I think these two are pretty level pegging for clean sheet odds, pretty level pegging for goal threat. You just save $1 million and you get slightly better Defcon. No brainer, right? By the way, it's changed the way we pick. 8 extra points for these two already. That's going to clock. And they're going to continue to do this. So if we put Senesi into my team, it gives me even more money in the bank. 6.4 million. Gianni, why aren't you spending it? Well, the plan for Erling Haaland, let's discuss in a minute. But if Senesi comes into my team, I think it just looks a little bit better for balance. My slight issue with it is this week, Bournemouth's clean sheet odds aren't brilliant. And this is from Rob T, right? So this is bookies odds. And the bookies aren't always right, but I like to use them as a gauge, but you've got to do your own thinking too. So for projected clean sheets, the bookies have got Bournemouth at 26% likely to keep a clean sheet. They've got Murillo's Forest at 31. So the bookies are currently saying Forest are 5% more likely to keep a clean sheet. However, is Murillo going to get Defcon? Less likely, although he was brilliant versus Arsenal. Is Murillo fit? We don't know. I'll be waiting to hear from Ange. Senesi comes with the Defcon points that I don't think Murillo does. By the way, for projected goals this week, really interesting. There's not many teams in and around that 2. Often we see a few teams around 2. It's just Liverpool over 2 goals. Short of that, you got Arsenal, Brighton, Chelsea, Man United and Fulham all above 1.5, but only just. And actually, I look at it and go, this isn't going to be a very high-scoring game week. Not one I think you want to be taking 4-point hits, guys. So my big decision this week will come down to, do I go Senesi or do I wait a week and go Senesi next week? But Senesi is going to be coming into this team. So the other guy I don't have is Semenyo. And I completely understand why everyone is beelining for Semenyo. He is the best scoring midfielder, probably the best scoring player in the game so far this season with 36 big ones. He's been amazing. We've seen the Bournemouth fixtures. I fancy him against Newcastle. He's a legit captaincy option versus Newcastle. But with the structure I'm going towards, it doesn't allow for Semenyo. Now, let me explain, because maybe I'm cutting my nose off to spite my face here. So this is the structure I'm on, right? This is with my transfers this week and next week. It says 4 points in the top right because that's with game week 5, but by game week 6 that'll be free because it'll be 0 points hits. It'll be 3 free transfers. Senesi for Murillo, Wirtz to Josh King of Fulham, who's just fodder. I don't care if he loses a spot at Fulham or keeps getting subbed at 70 minutes. He'll be my 3rd sub. And then Mark Guiu to Haaland. This is the plan for Erling Haaland, ladies and gents. And I look at this squad and I'm so happy that I can get to this squad for free with no hits and no chips. Now, in game week 6, I think this is not a million miles from a wildcard squad. I think I'm really happy with this. Now, of course, I want to be offloading Ollie Watkins very soon, and Watkins will become Gyökeres. I've got 0.5 in the bank. I need Arsenal defenders. Again, I'll be looking to possibly upgrade a Pedro Porro to an Arsenal defender. There's a few routes I can go down here, but as things stand, I'm fairly happy with this setup. I might even save 0.1 and go Josh King down to a 4.4. Will there be a 4.3 by then? Unlikely. It's just a dead spot. Remember, I've bench boosted. So this is my plan for Erling Haaland. It involves Salah in. Now, where we're at with chips, and chips have to be discussed. Many are going to get to game week 6. They're going to use their free hit because they can't get to Erling Haaland and they're going to feel like they need him. Or they're going to use their wild card because it's their only route to Haaland. Or they're going to use 2 free transfers. They're going to sell Salah and say to Palmer, and they're going to go Ollie Watkins up to Haaland. Huge compromise. Watching Salah on Wednesday night, do we really want to be selling him? Like, it's easy to look at the 4-game sample size and go, he's rubbish. His XG's low. He's had 5 shots, 1 big chance. But then you see him against Atletico in the Champions League. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, this is what Salah does. Very, very dangerous to be selling Mo Salah, guys. Now, I don't think that's a route I want to take. I want both of them. And then if it fails me in game week 6 and I get to game week 8 or 9 and I've gone, look, Gianni, both of them didn't work. It meant you couldn't have players like Semenyo because that was the compromise of having both. If that's the case, fine, I'll wildcard. That's my get out of jail free card. But for the time being, I think I can sample it. Now, maybe Watkins goes to Gyökeres, or maybe Watkins goes down to an Evan Nilsson. I don't know. And then I can use more money in my defence to get to Arsenal defenders. A couple of things I know I want with this team. I want Ollie Watkins out after Sunderland. And I know I want triple Arsenal as soon as possible. And I don't know if that's double Arsenal defence and Gyökeres or triple Arsenal defence, or maybe Saka even comes into the equation. But with all that in mind, I'm going to try getting there, not with the Saka route, but with all the other routes, with Salah and Haaland in my team. And if it fails me, so what? I wildcard. But as things stand, I'm in a position where I can free hit in game week 6. Because I don't have to wildcard, because I certainly won't have to free hit, it opens the door to triple captain Haaland versus Burnley. Now, we'll speak more about that next week. But that might be the play, guys. The way he's playing. And do you know what? He's got no Champions League going into that Burnley game. He's got Huddersfield in the EFL Cup. He'll be rested. So that's my long-term vision. But let's go back, I think, shall we, to the here and now. And that is game week 5. And it's been a couple of weeks of suffering to get to this route. I've not had all my money out. I've been saving money. You've seen I've got 6 million in the bank. And game week 5 might be another grey or red arrow. But I think from game week 6, we're going to see big, big greens. Guys, if you're enjoying this video, by the way, I know I'm ranting a little bit, but hit that like button and do hit that subscribe button if you can. Thank you so much as always. So I think this is where I'm set. I think I'll probably end up making that transfer Murillo to Senesi. It's splitting the difference, isn't it, between having double Forest and just the one. If Ange tells us Murillo's 100% fit and going to start, maybe I keep him. And that might go down to the deadline. So I'll, as always, put my team on Instagram before the deadline. But it's either going to be Murillo for Senesi this week or next. Dewsbury Hall benching against Liverpool, I think I'm okay with that. Do I start Dubravka or Sanchez? At the moment, it's a coin toss. I feel like it could be Sanchez. It could be Sanchez, but it's a 51.49. And captaincy, guys, if you own Mo Salah, I think you should captain him after what we saw on Wednesday night. If you don't want to go Salah or you don't own him, I don't think Haaland gets much change out of the Arsenal backline. Despite his form, I don't like the fixture. And I know we've said we should back 4 more, but Arsenal defence is so good at the minute. The other option I like if you own him, and I shouldn't say this because I don't own him and I don't want his ownership to shoot up, Antoine Semenyo versus Newcastle. Whisper it quietly, but Antoine Semenyo is a really good captaincy option this week. Damn. Can't see how I get him in my team. So look, that is how I'm set for game week 5. Guys, good luck, and I'll see you in game week 6.